Is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists believe, that this is Finding Monster Right? The show about finding monsters, right?
Possibly.
I am ancient astronaut theorist Allie.
I'm action. I see Adam.
Huh? What? And this is... I gotta go to normal voice. Hi. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
I'm not. You know why?
Is that because of our topic of this week?
Yes, it's because of XXXtraterrestrial beings. The god of love is real and dead.
A big revelation that's shaking the foundation of our program.
Relevation.
The Book of Relevations.
We're punchy today. We're punchy today because we're reviewing... we're not reviewing. We don't review shit. This is not a review show. But,
No, it's a show about monsters, and specifically monsters can be all kinds of things. They can be in the past, they can be from space, they can be from the past and from space, ancient aliens.
Yeah, we're talking ancient aliens today. For those of you who live under a rock, because it's the hot new sensation of the summer, of the past, 17 years that they've been running this damn program. But on the History Channel, there's
Has it been that long, really?
It has been that long, though.
Erich von Däniken has never been a young man.
It's true. It's a show on the History Channel where they say that everything that has ever happened is because of aliens, and it all started with a book on Adam's bookshelf.
Chariots of the Gods? There's a question mark at the end, so I'm pretty sure that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it.
Yes, the MO of this show is ask a question. The answer is yes. Therefore, new question. The answer is yes. Therefore, aliens.
Yeah. It's and I will say this book by Erich von Däniken follows the very same format of the program, where even the cover has, did astronauts visit the Earth 40,000 years ago? Is there evidence of prehistoric airfield in the Andes? Did extraterrestrial beings help set the giant stone faces that brood over Easter Island? And other Earth mysteries unanswerable until our own space age.
What it is it's the narrator for this show saying things like divine, or as some would say, extraterrestrial beings. He always hits that middle syllable. I caught extraterrestrial beings. Otherworldly, metaphysical, celestial. That's just how he says things, and it's over, the most important music you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah, and it's, I will say the show's effective in a lot of ways that, I find as a writer, is very, ooh, that is a fun theoretical to posit here, in some kind of made-up sci-fi fantasy world. But no, it's often, in it's not the twist at the end of a Twilight Zone episode, it's it's just no, this really happened. But yeah, I will say the narrator, Robert Clotworthy, I attempted to reach out to him for this particular episode of our program.
Oh my god.
I thought it'd be really amazing if he could narrate the intro for us. He has not gotten back to me.
Oh, okay, well, that would be tight though.
Yeah.
It's also one of his other catchphrases is mainstream archaeologists contend, or mainstream scholars contend that X. However, ancient astronaut theorists have a more profound explanation. Or, right. Profound, astonishing. And it's the more of this emotion the statement engenders in you, the more likely it is to be correct. I don't know if there's, a word for this emotion in the English language, but I can reduce it to 2 words. And those are, whoa, dude. So
Yeah. It's mind-blowing, right?
Yeah. TV Tropes calls this Occam's razor, where it's the weirdest explanation is correct. Let's play on Occam's razor, which is the simplest explanation is correct. You may have heard it worded if you hear hoofbeats, think horse, not zebra. Occam's razor says, if you hear hoofbeats, think zombie space zebras, not horse.
Oh, good poll there.
the more whoa dude you get, the more likely it is to be true.
And I will say that I don't want to spend too much of this episode doing the obvious thing, which is debunking ancient aliens and Chariot of the Gods.
Yeah.
Because plenty of people have done that just fine. It's all over YouTube. There's people that like break down episodes like piece by piece. There are books about this book, such as by Clifford Wilson, "Crash Go the Chariots," in 1972, and what else? There was a book by Kenneth Federer called "Frauds, Myths, and Mysteries."
Oh yeah. No, I've listened to him on Monster Talk. He's great.
Yeah. So other people have like basically like word by word taken this this book apart, and that's not what I'm interested in doing here today. I want to do the more challenging aspect is let's kind of take this book as gospel, as our Bible, breaking down this this world of ancient astronauts and reach the conclusion that can help us inform us on this our Valentine's Day special of this year.
Yes.
Because, Allie, I don't know if you know, but there are gods and goddesses of love out there.
Oh, really?
And according to this book, they're real.
And if the gods and goddesses... if ancient peoples worshipped these beings as gods and goddesses of love, is it possible that they were extraterrestrial beings? And if so, is it possible that they were real? And if so, is it possible that they can get me laid? Ancient astronaut theorists, say yes!
Thank God.
My God. I want to run through my other notes about the program that I saw really quick.
Okay, please, let's fill us in. Because, like I said, this book often reads like page by page of what the episodes are like. A novelization.
So, first off, like, ancient alien theory gets, or ancient astronaut hypothesis, I guess, debunked, skeptical, whatever. It gets accused of racism a lot. Like, oh, these primitive non-white peoples couldn't have possibly done things that white people do today, da-da-da. It's also, like, the stuff that I saw on Ancient Aliens, they did also talk about, like, people from medieval Europe not being able to do shit. So it's all the racism, yes, but also kind of like an anti-the-past-ism.
Yeah.
Like, our ancestors were dummies hypothesis.
I will also say that some of the theories posited later in the book made me, and this might be just me drinking too much of the Kool-Aid of it, and I was like, oh, okay, because I used to think a lot of it was like that. It's the, like, ancient people were dumb, human couldn't innovate at all, but he brings it around a little bit towards the end. We'll get to that.
Another point is starting every scene with location, date, Germany, 1964. Erich von Däniken writes a book that sets the world on fire.
Every chapter of this book starts off with, like, hard facts, and then it loosely translates over to, but what if, like, pseudoscience bullshit, and then it throws questions that it doesn't feel like exploring, and then rinse and repeat throughout the whole book.
Direct quote from the episode I saw from Giorgio Tsoukalos, who is the guy with crazy hair from the memes, who knows he has the crazy hair from the memes and is playing it up, which is lovely. But many times with treasure maps, you have a missing piece. Like, he knows. Like, he's a treasure map. Like, he's a real archaeologist. He was a bodybuilder. He was a bodybuilding promoter. Like,
is it a treasure map you have all the pieces?
No, it was many times with the treasure map you have a missing piece. Yeah, in, like, books for children, Giorgio.
Yeah. Is that a tree? No, it's a building. Like, what kind? He's watching Peter Pan and Friends with his kids.
Yeah, so that's the level that we're talking about here. And I also noticed that one of the guests, their credentials were archivist at Joseph Campbell Archives. And it strikes me that Joseph Campbell, Hero with a Thousand Faces, monomyth, I, some random white guy who loves the Nazis in the 1940s, am in charge of all of human mythology, and I can explain it in this monomyth that definitely grafts all human stories to it. Don't look it up, but it's true. One simple explanation for everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the common thread there. It's conspiratorial thinking.
Yeah, it's the there's got to be one answer here. There's a I'll pull it up later. What else you got?
There is a rhetorical technique called the Gish Gallop.
I have heard of this.
Yeah, this is basically like keep throwing nonsense things. Like I was writing down so many things on my whiteboard here, like the Shroud of Turin and like the like the Gobekli Tepe, I don't remember how to pronounce it, and the Nazca lines. I don't remember how to pronounce any of these because like my brain is at a hot zero. Like I've just been overwhelmed with too many things to possibly debunk all at once.
Yeah, it's like what they do is they say, okay, look, let's just say this is all like bullshit. There's like a 1% chance that this is possible. Well, here's 100 other things. And let's say it's a 1% chance for all of them. That means that there's a 100% chance when you sum them all up that this is real.
Okay.
It's like, it does not work like that, dog.
It's true. That's how they do it. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to do 2 truths and a lie with you, Adam.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, 2 of these are true things that I saw on Ancient Aliens. True claims that I saw on Ancient Aliens. And one of them is a claim that I made up.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so, number 1. Ancient astronaut theorists believe that the Blarney Stone in Ireland was an artifact blessed by extraterrestrial beings to give eloquence to people through psychic energy.
Huh. Well, that makes sense. I've seen the Blarney Stone, and those it looks like a regular stone, but it's weird enough that people could say ancient astronauts were responsible. So okay. Oh, what's the next one?
Option 2. Metal hats. Metal has been important throughout all of human history because it connects people to aliens through psychic energy.
Okay, so it's also psychic energy like the first one, and metal is important to humans. So maybe it's I could see the parallels there.
They were talking about the hats specifically, though.
Yeah, the hats.
Mothman is actually a drone sent to collect psychic energy from dying planets, and that's why he's attracted to disasters. And also he's all black because he floats through space like a solar sail.
Is the metal hats one fake?
No, the Mothman one is fake.
Okay, just that's like a win-win for me. Like, I could have guessed Mothman. I thought it was pretty good, but in my heart of hearts, I kind of wanted the Mothman thing to be a real topic.
It is real. I made it up. You can honestly, it's so easy. It's so easy. Why am I not making money off of this? I'm so dumb.
As an ancient astronaut theorist myself.
Yeah.
In the same way that I'm a Pokemon theorist.
I have a bachelor's degree. That's more than any of these people have. I could just say that, like, yeah, Mothman's a space drone. Like, I came up with that idea, and I was like, that fucking rules. I can already picture the CGI of, like, a bunch of Mothmans in space.
Yeah, I have the same higher learning credits as Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think I can say things that aren't true.
Yeah, like, Adam, give me, like, a historical fact or a piece of mythology or just, like, anything that has ever happened, like, something that happened to you today or something, and I will connect it to aliens.
Okay, let's see. So, today, alright, this happened last week. I went to buy, like a sandwich at this new sandwich shop. I was ready for a sausage and peppers, but they didn't have sausage, so I panic ordered a meatball sub. The meatball sub I accidentally tipped 100% for, and it took them about 30 minutes to come out, which is weird because I've never tipped 100% before, and I don't recommend it. It was a delayed meal, and then when I got it, there was like 2 meatballs in it altogether. I felt really ripped off. So that's an event that happened to me. How was it, aliens?
Is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists believe, that extraterrestrial beings took some of this combination of meat and flour and little inclusions of peppers and shit as part of their genetical experiments to create life to colonize other planets? Something about the chemical interaction of the ingredients of a sausage or a meatball. drove the aliens to abduct those DNA samples, and in the meantime, creating enough psychic interference to make Adam accidentally tip 100%.
In no cultures in the past has there ever been a reason for bread and meat to come together. Clearly, this is the work of some greater power.
So, anyway, somewhere in Europe, the 1960s. I said I was more specific earlier, but come to think of it, probably not. Erich von Däniken writes a book that sets the world on fire, which is what the aliens can actually do. I want them to step on me. Extraterrestrial beings.
We have not reached the monster fucker part of this program. We'll be there soon. You'll hear an alarm.
Okay.
But yes, no, I have sitting here on my desk the 22nd printing of this book.
Keeps coming up with new stuff. It's easy. Did you get to the part about sausages?
Not yet. But it's one of the first printing was in 1971, and this printing was in like 1973.
Oh my god.
So he just like, people keep wanting more of this. He's like surprised. The actual first draft of this was rejected by various publishers, according to the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I bet.
So it was rewritten by its editor, Wilhelm Rogersdorf, which is a pen name for another guy named Wilhelm.
My name is Wilhelm Rogersdorf.
Rogersdorf.
That is a name with like 6 ellipses in it.
Yeah. So, I basically wrote down a couple like major chapters and events that happen across here. I want to highlight that at no point has Eric ever been a young man. All of this is written with an old voice. Like he's like something like 90 nowadays, I think. But yeah, this is written. This is a 50-year-old book.
Adam,
and he talks about
Is it possible that Erich von Däniken?
Yes, it's possible. But let's not zoom into it anymore.
Okay, continue.
But he talks about like Jules Verne, the grandfather of all science fiction. His fantasies are no longer science fiction; they're reality.
They are science fact, which is a way that people always put it, and every time it drives me right up a wall.
Which is funny because he's saying this 2 years after the moon landing. So he's very much like part of this. You can feel he's speculating into the future about like, oh, what's going to come, and some things he's kind of a little right on. Other times he's a little further off.
I think the space race engendered a lot of enthusiasm about space and like technology and science and stuff that like around the 60s and 70s and everything. I think it's 1964 or it's Mariner 4, I forget. But sometime in the 1960s they sent a probe to take the first pictures of Mars, and like up until they got the first pictures back, they were like, there might be some life on Mars.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got those pictures back, and it's, like, just regular Mars. And, like, imagine how big of a bummer that is, just to hear, like, a definitive no.
Right. And Eric was very much on the side of, like, Mars is, like, right there, and it's totally inhabitable. Maybe we came from there. Maybe we'll go there sometime really, really soon.
There it is.
Yeah. It's a bit of the, he does this thing. It's that 1% thing that I mentioned earlier, where he's like, all right, look, let me break down the science for you. There's like 10 to the 12 power number of stars. We know that. And of those, we figure that there's like 10 to the 8 power of planets. So
that can't be true.
Yeah, his numbers are antiquated and inaccurate on top of that.
10 to the 8th planets for every star?
No, it like of planets that are around stars.
Okay.
Not every star is a planet, but I figure there's that many planets. And look, I know that's a lot. So let's say 1% of those have the conditions for life, and 1% of those have the conditions for intelligent life, and 1% of those, let's say that that intelligent life has the technology, the advanced technology to reach us. That's like 180 planets. That was his number. There's 180 of them.
Wait, that's not how 10 to the 8th works.
Yeah, so he breaks them down like that, and it's largely, it's a lot of that stuff throughout this book. I want to pull like specific examples, but they're he gets really weird really quick. On page like fucking 11, he talks about how he changes point of view. He says like, okay, look, we are advancing into space. One day we might travel out to these foreign lands, these inhabitable planets. What does this like? How would we get there? What happens when we get there? Quote: Our astronauts would try to teach the natives the simplest form of civilization.
Oof.
And some moral concepts in order to make them develop a social order if possible. A few specially selected women would be fertilized by the astronauts. Page 11. Thus a new race would arise that skipped a stage in natural evolution.
I'm agog. Why are we more evolved than the aliens?
I don't know why.
Why is he just taking for granted, like, yeah, the people will fuck the aliens and make a few select alien women? Like, they don't have gender. They're like fungi, and they have like 8 million different sexes, and any 2 of them can reproduce or something. Like, we don't know. They're in space, Eric. They're not animals. They're not from Earth. We can't fuck them and make babies out of them.
Yeah, he's very, very keen on that read of aliens, is that like, oh yeah, they're like humans.
Why?
Precisely.
Because you've been watching too much fucking Star Trek where it's just a guy in a suit. Or it's a guy with like a piece of tissue paper glued to his face, and he's like, maybe our people can find peace, gloop, gloop.
Yeah, other times he points out like, he has a whole chapter about stories from the Bible. And, how that's like, clearly this is an account of extraterrestrial inhabitants. There's like 5 episodes of Ancient Aliens about this. But he's like, yeah, no, listen here. He says, back then there's giants on the earth. The Nephilim lived here. They bred with humans. There's these angel humans walking around. And he's like, yeah, that's true. So it's like, okay, not only are you saying that these half races is foreign, but it was giants and humans.
Now, is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists, i.e. me, believe, that these Nephilim referred not to human-like beings, but rather haired creatures that walked around on 2 feet, like the modern Sasquatch stories? Because who else is a crazy, horny 90-year-olds?
I think who you're referring to is our good friend of the show.
Good friend and mortal enemy, Robert W. Morgan.
Robert, wish I knew more about aliens, Morgan.
Robert Otherworldly Morgan.
Yeah, no, I think he and Erich von Däniken was being really good friends.
Honestly, I ship it.
I ship it too.
Yeah. Friendship.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing.
But early in the book especially is that kind of erasure of human culture and advancement. Where he's just like, look, there's this really, really detailed map called the Piri-Reis maps. And when they were made, like, it's crazy accurate. Like, it looks like it was taken from space. This map image. It looks like it was based off photographs in space. No way. Citation needed. No way that humans could have done this. Made a map this good. When Occam's razor, they can. Yeah, it's they were just really good with their tools at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the positive of like, the fact that we have good maps means that there are people's got a bird's eye view of this. Same thing with the Nazca lines. It's like, look, who are they making these pictures of the monkey up for? Like, look, the picture of the monkey means nothing to them. And then, of course, yeah, actually, from the nearby hill, you can see that the Nazca lines were totally visible. Part of the theorist mindset is the throwing out. Like, there's too many babies in with this bathwater. I only need 1 baby to make my point. Let's throw out most of it.
I only need 1 baby to make my point. Why is he whatever that accent is? He's German.
I'll throw out 1,000 babies if it makes people believe in aliens. he has some pretty claims, crazy claims in here. He talks about the historic flood, of course.
Mm-hmm. The historic one
captured in the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah.
His opinion of religion's pretty. I would call it naive.
Really?
So he hopes that interactions with aliens will bring about world peace.
That's cute. It won't.
Yeah.
It'll bring about alien racism.
Quotes. Meanwhile, with the space age, the intellectual day of judgment comes ever nearer. The theological clouds will evaporate, scattered like shreds of mist. With a decisive step into the future, into the universe, we shall have to recognize that there are not 2 million gods, not 20,000 sects, not 10 great religions, but only one.
Space gods? Aliens?
Yeah, aliens. He thinks that aliens are responsible for all religions, and all religious tales, all mythologies, are reflections of things that these ancient aliens did when they were here. There's no independent thinking, no conjuring, no different deities, different reasons for deities. It's all because of aliens.
The part where it's like, there's not 20 million gods, and it's like, how do you know there's not 20 million aliens? Because some of them told us how to make nukes, and then some of them told us not to use nukes.
Yep. There's something to that claim that I want to highlight here, and that is how the goddess of love has changed shapes in Greek mythology over the years. Where I'm talking, of course, about Aphrodite.
Specifically considering that particular goddess of love.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Aphrodite was not always Aphrodite.
Really?
Astarte was the goddess that inspired her as her kind of worshippers traveled across Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Over about a 500-year period. From 1450 BCE to the 900s is when this was kind of evolution happened. As it goes up, the goddesses have more features to them. Astarte was more about kind of justice, but was also about love.
Inanna is also. Are you gonna? Were you gonna mention? Okay, yeah.
No, I was actually gonna go up to Ishtar.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you continue up that path, it's from Astarte, you get up to Ishtar, who very similar goddess of fertility, love, war, and justice. Imagine that there is an ancient alien event that inspired one god that travels through the world.
Yeah. Well, there's also going further up the tree. There's Inanna, who is a I think Mesopotamian or Sumerian deity who is for some reason really popular in the trans community among former Christian kids who have kind of lost faith there, because there is one passage in there saying that basically from thousands of years BC that trans people exist and that they're better than other people, I guess, or something. I don't know. Goddess said so.
Got it.
Yeah, and then Aphrodite herself goes on to inspire different goddesses, like Venus in Roman mythology, and also some bits and pieces of her were taken for depictions of Mary in Christianity.
Yep.
Also, I think Astarte is from the same pantheon as Yahweh and Ashera, or something like that.
Yeah, and you can even look at the pantheon that Aphrodite's in and say and her son Eros, who we as nowadays were depicted as Cupid.
Right, the Roman name.
That's it. For some reason, that's the ones that sticks. What did those Romans do to make their legacy so sticky?
Is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists believe, that ancient Romans had access to ancient alien technology, like laser guns from Space Wars?
The Mediterranean Sea, 800 BC. The Roman fire lit up the water. Fire can't light up water. Aliens, plasma.
The grocery store last week. Adam's ordering a meatball.
This was the writer's room, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
They just bullet point, boom, 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 done.
They all talk in that voice.
They actually have ancient astronaut technology, but it's only to produce AI script readings for this guy to do. That's why they all sound the same.
Ancient Aliens could be written by ChatGPT and no one would notice.
No, it's...
Is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists contend?
So a lot of this, I was sharing this with you earlier in the week, but a lot of this book is written with just conspiracy voice. Like, the first paragraph is just like, listen, come close to the fire. Listen to these words that I will tell you. You will not believe them. You'll be made fun of. You'll be laughed out of existence.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah. But it's true. Here's a fun quote. Quote, "Why are the oldest libraries in the world secret libraries? What are people really afraid of? Are they worried that the truth, protected and concealed for so many thousands of years, will finally come to light? Research and progress cannot be held back. For 4,000 years, the Egyptians considered their gods to be real beings. In the Middle Ages, we still killed witches in our burning ideological zeal. The belief that ancient Greeks, that they could tell the future from the goose entrails, is out of date today as convention of... Yeah, time changes, perspectives change. You're laughing at me now, but in 50 years, you'll be laughing at me, but for different content I make."
I mean, it's good. Books don't live in 50. Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Aphrodite's real.
Aphrodite's real. Yeah, let's assume that Aphrodite is a real being goddess. What?
Is it possible some ancient astronaut theorists contend that Aphrodite is real, and if so, is she a real goddess of love, and if so, is she for spaceman, and if so, can she get me fucking pussy? Or dick? Both, actually. There's a hermaphroditos. There's a Venus. There's a hermaphroditic Venus statue somewhere out there.
Nice.
Yeah, progressive. Very progressive of ancient Rome.
Yeah. To tie it all together, he had one theory in this book that I thought was actually kind of good. He talks about the Egyptian pyramids, like you do. Like most of ancient... I think the pilot episode of Ancient Aliens is just about the pyramids. And how all this Egyptian stuff means that they couldn't have built this on their own. They did. But they couldn't. His big point was like, why would a king that dies, why would he want this big thing built of him that he was not even there to enjoy?
Because he's an asshole and he's afraid of death.
Yeah, he wants... but he connected that to how in modern days we have the technology to freeze people, dead people, but freeze them into the future so that maybe one day they'll be able to be defrosted and kind of reanimated, brought back to life. And he compares this to how deep space travel would require hibernation pods. So basically saying, like, what if, like, these kings, like, mummified themselves and kind of, like, after seeing some of these hibernation pods and saying, like, maybe my body can be preserved so that one day I could be brought back. Which I thought was kind of, like, neat. Of all the points in this 150-page book, that one was kind of neat. I see where he's coming from with that. I thought it was interesting. Counterpoint,
what if no?
Yeah, as you can do with the entire contents of this book and the whole show, all 100+ episodes.
You can do that with the entire show and the entire book, but it doesn't make as much of like a whoa dude moment. It doesn't score as high on the whoa dude, so it's not as true.
So what I'm saying is that Aphrodite, ancient astronaut, she came from a different world. She traveled here, and her ship landed.
She said trans rights as she was crashing to Earth.
Yeah, okay. Trans rights.
Maybe that's why there's not really a Christian version of Aphrodite or Inanna, is because they so clearly said trans rights.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Aphrodite in mythology was a bit of a... What's the word I'm looking for here? A boss bitch. She was making scenes. She was accusing people. She was causing all kinds of trouble. She was the cause of the Trojan War.
Like most of the other gods, to be fair.
Yeah. They were all up to no good. So she's no exception here. But I do think it's fun to kind of say that, hey, what if this ancient person from another world is like a human? They have an emotional response to things. they're imperfect.
They look like human people for some reason.
Yeah, yeah. Or, as astronauts theorists believe, that's why there's humans here, because of the aliens.
Oh, right, and not... Are apes also here because of the aliens?
Yeah, you see, there's also, like, they buddy up like Godzilla and Kong, and they travel together, the apes and the humans. They actually travel with each ape along the evolutionary period.
What about monkeys?
Yeah.
What about
it's like,
mammals?
It's like, you know that one episode of Pokemon where they have like the Squirtle Squad, and, like the Blastoise group, and the Wartortle gang? It's like that.
Oh, okay.
All the different evolution ones are different levels of firefighting.
Is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists believe, that Blastoise is an alien? Where else would he get the guns from? Why doesn't he look like Wartortle? These are the real questions.
Is it possible to obtain the bubble beam tier before Mount Moon?
Is it possible, as some ancient astronaut theorists believe, that if you use strength on the truck by the SSN, you will find Mew?
Bring it a full circle.
Is it possible, as my uncle who works at Nintendo would contend?
Is it possible that Sans is Ness and always has been?
Is it possible that I found this old copy of a game called Pokemon Purple at a garage sale, and I put it in my Game Boy, and when I got to Lavender Town, it said that my brain was gonna eat its own butt?
Is it possible to find the Godstone in the Seafoam Islands and turn Pikachu into Pika-Blue?
Is it possible that when you eat a green potato chip, you die?
Okay, so...
Just bringing it back to second grade cafeteria talk.
I guess what I'm saying is that there is no version of an ancient astronaut. There's no like Aphrodite showing up and stuff like that. If that did occur, if all this did go down, this creature would have a very human lifespan, right?
Well, maybe they have the technology to, live forever or stuff. Like, maybe they know how to stop genetic aging. Maybe they don't even have genetics. Maybe they're a computer sent... Maybe they're just like a robot or like a crystal gem construct, Steven Universe style, sent from a more powerful biological species, or not more powerful, but older, that couldn't make it, beyond a certain point because the universe is just so vast and interstellar travel is so limited and a species only lives for so long that they created these artificial constructs to spread their message of peace and also destruction and also everything that's ever happened throughout the universe. And as they spread throughout that universe, their message becomes less clear because of that adaptive radiation of ideology. And that's why you have so many contradictions in the ancient astronaut lore. It's actually explained, as some ancient astronaut theorists would contend, by the ancient astronaut theory, which is real. Also, SpongeBob is real and he loves me.
He just commented for the Super Bowl yesterday.
What happened in the Super Bowl yesterday? Wasn't there some commercial where Jesus had a foot fetish?
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I just heard hearsay and saw the highlight reel on Twitch. Nickelodeon showed the Super Bowl. And they had like VTubers of like SpongeBob and Patrick like talking about like doing color commentary. It was pretty amazing.
I kind of hate it.
Well, it's like, SpongeBob voiced by Tom Kenny, an actual comedian, so he's like dropping bits.
Oh, okay.
He's doing good. Yeah, he's doing good jokes.
All right.
They fumble the ball, and Patrick's like, firmly grasp it, you guys.
That's the meme.
Yeah, dropping memes. It's fun. But anyway, yes, no. I see what you're saying. Is that it's one of those things. It's like when you can just make it up.
Yeah.
Like anything's possible.
I'm gish galloping you right now as we speak to take you off topic from the episode.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, this is. While I am happy that I read the book, I am not happy that I did not finish listening to Sphere on audiobook by Michael Crichton. I'm like halfway through it, and the way he writes sci-fi is that like he does all his research and he's like, look, I have to tell you what I learned. So the characters are just like, the theory about the human alien paradox. It's of course that any alien that is not human cannot be conceived by humans. We can only think in about a creature with a mouth or with an anus. but an unconceivable alien could truly be. That's unconceivable. And, like, just every corner, he's just dropping one of those every chapter.
Mike, why? why the alien buttholes, Mike?
He's all about it. So, yeah, I just, in that same aspect here, it's like, yeah, no, what's an alien even? The odds of an alien being human are, and human compatible are not possible here. It's weird that that is a big part of this, is that the genetic component. You said this, I've seen this on Ancient Aliens before. It's like, oh yeah, no, Egyptians, they would have genetic experiments. That's why you see all the human bodies and animal heads. And it's always very, very, this human genome is important to these theories.
It's what makes the human genome so important, especially if it was created by aliens, but also the aliens want our genetic material, even though they created our genetic material, so they should theoretically know it.
Well, here's the twist of the book. Spoiler alert for 50 years and 100 episodes of Ancient Aliens. Eric...
Oh, they're at like 300.
Yeah, oh God. Eric posits that he basically spends a third of the book talking about how it's like, all right, look, it's not crazy to think that ancient astronauts... First you have to understand...
Yes, it is.
This snorts coke. It's not crazy to think.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy that I have a bong rip sound effect for this episode.
Yeah, so basically he says that ancient astronauts, first you have to understand regular astronauts. What are we doing right now on the moon? We travel to the moon, right? We're going to the moon. Our planet, our population's growing. Climate migration's going to happen. We're going to run out of space. We need to go to Mars eventually. What's to say that if we're not going to keep going places? And what if in 1,000 years, we're going to be the ancient aliens to other people? We're going to go to other planets and, like, they're going to be savages and we're going to teach them, we're going to leave behind artifacts like this iron post that's in the ground that never rusts, even though it's proven to rust. And when I'm asked about this later in life, I'll say, let's forget about that part of it. What if they leave machines that leave tread tracks in places that are frequently traveled by ancient people with carts? He basically says, we could be these astronauts to other people. We could be other people's ancient astronauts in other worlds. So, which I think is a neat way of looking at it, because suddenly you see it as this, like I said, this Twilight Zone episode where it's like, oh no, it's people showing up to give people the tools that they need to succeed. Fucking the end of Interstellar is what he's and Christopher Nolan agree on. This kind of big twist is that we're passing along the torch to ourselves as we grow up in different parts of the world.
I like that theory. I mean, as long as you're making shit up, it may as well be something fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of positive. It's again, it's the antithesis of that, aliens gave us everything that we need. It's like, yeah, but if those aliens are us, then we're just kind of helping us along.
I mean, that's cool. It sounds kind of like what I've mentioned before, I think, not on the show, because I don't remember this episode, but about the gray aliens.
Yeah.
How they're kind of they look like people because they are future people.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, and it's I agree. It's that's the same type of idea. It's almost like it's unfathomable to think that aliens could be so like us, or like all these different types of aliens that you uncover. But the fact that they are us is suddenly the tech is easier to explain. Suddenly the advancements easier to explain. It's like, oh, we're doing what they did in their time. Yeah. He lists towards the end of the book all these kind of NASA projects that are going on and stuff like that. He had a pretty good prediction about the internet, which I was surprised by.
What did he say?
He said, quote, "An astonishing idea, which transferred to the new realm of technology, will look something like this. In New York, a monster computer would be fed with all the known data on physics. Whenever and from wherever the computer was integrated, whenever and from wherever the computer was interrogated, it would give its answers in a fraction of a second. Another computer might be in Zurich, with the whole world of medical knowledge stored inside it. One in Moscow will be stuffed with all the facts about biology. Another one in Cairo would have no gaps in its astronomical knowledge. In short, all the knowledge in the world, arranged by branches, would be stored in various sensors. Connected by radio, the computer in Cairo, if asked for medical information, would pass on the question to the computer in Zurich in 1/100th of a second." He's talking about the interconnectedness of human technology in the late 60s, 70s, which I think is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's a bit before the information age really kicked off.
Yeah, so he was on the kind of right track with that. He lists NASA projects and things that he's like kind of looking forward to. Again, it was an age of like inspiration that everyone was feeling about these times that they lived in. I will say there is a moment in here about him being embarrassed by another professional in this field. This gave me big Bobby Morgan vibes. So he had an opportunity to talk to this guy, Dr. von Braun, who he called the father of the Saturn rocket.
Werner von Braun?
I think so.
Damn.
Yeah. He said to him, "Dr. von Braun, do you consider it possible that we shall find life on other planets in our solar system?" Which he replied, "I consider it possible that we shall come across lower life forms of life on the planet Mars. Do you consider it possible that we are not the only intelligence in the universe? I consider it extremely possible that not only plant and animal life, but also intelligent living creatures exist in the infinite reaches of the universe. The discovery of such life is the most fascinating and interesting task. But considering the enormous distances between our own and other solar systems, and still great distances between our galaxy and other galaxies, it's doubtful whether we shall succeed in providing the existence of such forms or of life getting in direct communication with them." And he keeps pressing. "Is it conceivable that older, technically more advanced, intelligent life have lived in our galaxy before?" And Dr. von Braun says, "Up to the present, we have no proof or indication that older and technically more advanced living beings than ourselves live or have lived in our galaxy. However, on the basis of statistical and philosophical considerations, I am convinced of the existence of such advanced life living beings. But I must emphasize that we have no firm scientific basis for this convention." For this conviction. Yeah. No, he basically gets shot down by his idol.
Aw. Well, I mean, that's fair. I mean, Werner von Braun, wasn't he like a paperclip guy? Wasn't he a Nazi?
That's a great question.
Let me double.
That's a very good. Let's check it out.
Let's see if we gotta cancel Werner von Braun. Werner von Braun.
Because if you cancel a Nazi, then German American aerospace engineer
and a space architect. He was a member of the Nazi Party. An Alpine SS, and the leading figure in the development of rocket technology in Nazi Germany, and later a pioneer of rocket and space technology in the United States. Funny how that works out.
Yep. Von Braun had an ambivalent and complex relationship with Nazi Germany.
Alright. Maybe that's better?
They have his membership number.
For the Nazis? Like,
yeah.
Can you shop at Nazi Costco? Like, Nazco?
Yeah. He pulled a tab and he got 5,700,380. Yeah, a big number.
Jeez. Well, yeah, we're not a fan. We're not necessarily.
No.
I'm gonna say not a fan in general. But maybe he suddenly had a redemption arc. Probably not, though.
I think telling off Erich von Däniken might be part of the redemption arc.
Is it? Is it possible, as you contend?
I would put us above him, and we're doing that exact same thing right now. So, we haven't talked too much about Aphrodite. Do we have more to say about the gods themselves? Just being echoed stories through the ages of what these ancient astronauts did.
Well, part of our premise here is the god of love is real and dead. So what does that indicate?
My thoughts on that was that, the god of love, the person that inspired the god of love is the goddess of love, Aphrodite. Or you walking it back, Ishtar, I knew. Was a real person, was a real creature that walked among our planet. What could that person have done to inspire that kind of legend and fable and nickname?
Lot of space fucking.
And making Aphrodite a true monster fucker.
Oh my god, yeah, because from her perspective, we are the monsters inside your head.
Exactly, we are aliens. She landed on a planet and said, "Ooh, I'm gonna make a reputation here of being all about that love."
Okay, wait a minute. Is it possible?
As ancient astronaut theories contend?
As ancient astronaut theories propose.
Propose, okay.
Aphrodite. What do we know about her? She has at least one form that is trans.
Right.
Monster fucker.
Yep.
Her name starts with A.
Allie, are you connecting the dots here?
I am the dots, baby!
Perhaps, in a Twilight Zone twist, you will travel back
Whoa!
to ancient times and begin the reputation that will create the goddess Aphrodite.
I'm a gog again! I'm a god, in fact! I'm a goggess!
The Gogagov.
Shit, okay. Well, now we know how Fighting Monsteroid eventually ends.
Yeah, we have a canon ending for our show.
As ancient astronaut theorists contend, it might not happen that way, but we won't have another idea for how to end a non-serialized show. Anyway.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. So all this talk of ancient Greece reminds me of one point that I want to make.
Yes, please.
There's a kind of phrase called a laconic phrase, named after Laconia, which is the region of Greece, including the city of Sparta.
Mm-hmm.
Sparta, which was a insane warrior culture where they raised children to be soldiers to the detriment of the rest of their society. Basically like the antebellum South, but with military instead of slaves. But also they had slaves.
Yeah, instead of raising wheat, they raised warriors. And that's not a really good long-term plan.
No. And also don't watch 300, it's bad. But, fucking ancient Persia for life. But maybe that's where I'll start. So Philip II of Macedon, who was Alexander the Great's father, was invading southern Greece, and he turned his attention to Sparta in Laconia, and he asked menacingly whether he should come as friend or foe. The reply was neither. Losing patience, he sent the message, "If I invade Laconia, I shall turn you out." And the Spartan magistrates replied again with a single word, "if." And this is a famous laconic phrase. So it's like, Is it possible, as ancient astronaut theorists believe, that this, and if that's true, you can kind of just respond with, if. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Which Philip of Macedon then proceeded to destroy most of Laconia and eject all the Spartans. Which is why Ancient Aliens has 16 seasons and we can't get Squarespace to sponsor us.
Yeah. If is how it kind of goes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You can be cute all you want. It doesn't win.
Yeah. They're great peddlers of questions, and it's fun. Those great questions are what paints our human picture.
Yeah.
Through the ages.
Yeah, I've described the opening credits for Ancient Aliens as just a bunch of leading questions flying through space.
Speaking of, that is how the Chariots of the God ends, with a bunch of leading questions in a chapter called Tomorrow.
Oh, jeez.
I'll leave that quote for the end of the show here. But first, let's go to the final rating place.
Yeah, the final rating place for Aphrodite, the goddess of love.
Yeah, we do not do a lot of Greek goddesses on here, do we?
No, and you know what? I don't know if we've ever done, like, a god properly. We've done the devil, and we've done Zahak, and those are both, like, religious figures, but...
Yeah, Punxsutawney Phil.
Yes, yeah, you'll have to listen back to that episode to know how that's relevant. But honestly, it's real and true.
But yeah, it's I think that's part of it. We've kind of strayed from this. Well, it's hard to get our kind of episode premise out of it, but tying it to this this great rich history of ancient aliens help boost it for sure. Aphrodite, I think, is one of a goddess that has a lot of stories that have a lot of the same endings. But I think as a kind of god face that, as we mentioned, has evolved and transformed over the years, is very good. It's definitely if you're building a pantheon, you need an Aphrodite.
That's where I come in.
You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah. It's rare, but not impossible that the monster of the week is me.
Rare, but not. Yeah, no. Every once in a blue moon, it goes down. It's not unheard of.
It's honestly more frequent than a blue moon, I think, at this point. There's been one blue moon in the past 5 years, I'm pretty sure, and it's happened at least 3 times.
Yeah, right.
It's me. Hi, I'm the monster. It's me. I'm trying to sing less this year. It's not going to happen. I'm not good at singing, though, still. But maybe I will be once I become Aphrodite in the past. I mean, I have to give myself 10 out of 10, of course.
As you do.
Yeah.
I think Aphrodite, as a goddess, it's a solid 7.
$13 out of 10.
Okay.
20 out of 10.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can find us on our Discord page, where you can interact with us and play various games of chance.
Yes, speaking of starting the Trojan War. Discord, but Tish.
It's
funny because I was and will have been there.
Thank you for joining us for this Valentine's Day special. A little different than our usual fare.
Yeah, I no longer.
I don't think we've ever done a straight V-Day, have we?
Well, that's more your bag.
I guess so.
Having a straight V-Day.
Sounds.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to talk about how much trouble I've been having on the dating apps and stuff, but we've pretty organically, I think, I didn't plan to reach the conclusion of I am Aphrodite, and now I'm just really high on that confidence, so I'm sorry that I keep harping on this point, or lying on it, possibly.
That's fine. That's a good energy to go into the dating scene with.
Fucking alright, yeah.
I think if your dating description was I am Aphrodite, goddess of love, you get some good hits.
Yeah. I need a seashell.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us, and join us next time when instead of space, we stop exploring and find something out about ourselves. And now to end with a quote from Chariots of the Gods.
Which does end in a question mark, we should say.
Yes. Tomorrow. Where do we stand today? Will man dominate space one day? Did unknown beings from the infinite reaches of the cosmos visit the Earth in the remote past? Are unknown intelligences somewhere in the universe trying to make contact with us? Is our age, with its discoveries that are taking the future by storm, really so terrible? Should the most shattering results of research be kept secret? Will medicine and biology discover a way of restoring deep-frozen men to life? Will men from Earth colonize new planets? Will they mate with the inhabitants they find there? Will men create a second, third, and fourth Earth? Will special robots replace surgeons one day? Will hospitals in the year 2100 be spare part stores for defective men? Will it become possible in the distant future to prolong man's life indefinitely with artificial hearts, lungs, kidneys, etc.? Will Huxley's Brave New World come true one day? In all its improbability and chilling inhumanity?
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
Man has a magnificent future ahead of him. A future which will far surpass his magnificent past. We need space, research into the future, and the courage to tackle projects that now seem impossible. For example, the project of constant concerted research into the past, which may bring us valuable memories of the future. Memories which will then be proved and which will illuminate the history of mankind for the blessing of future generations. Bibliography.
I'm a golden girl, I'm an Aphrodite, alright. Alright, yeah, yeah. You know that I'm magical, I am the original.